You walk into the garden center. You see two seed packets on the shelf. One says Heirloom, the other says Hybrid, non-GMO. And you grab the Heirloom because it feels safer, more natural. But here's what the label is not telling you. That Hybrid is not a GMO. It never was. And that Heirloom you just picked? It might be the reason half your tomatoes are dead by August. Tell me where you are growing. Your state, your zone, whatever you know. It shapes what I cover next. And the first thing you need to know is that the biggest fear out there is based on something that does not exist. GMO garden seeds. You cannot buy them. Not at Home Depot, not at Lowe's, not from Burpee, not from Park Seed, not from any seed catalog in the country. They are not on the shelf because they were never made. Here is what nobody is putting together. The United States grows about 10 GMO crops commercially. Field corn, soybeans, cotton, canola, sugar beets, alfalfa. A couple of specialty items like the Arctic apple that does not brown and the white russet potato. That is the full list. The USDA keeps that commercial GMO list short. Your tomato packet is not on it. But every single one of them is a production crop, sold in bulk to processors or animal feed operations. Not one of them shows up as a seed packet at your local garden center. Not one. So when you flip over a packet of tomato seeds and see non-GMO printed on the front, you need to understand what that label is actually doing. It is not protecting you. It is selling you peace of mind for a threat that was never there. Every tomato seed you have ever planted was non-GMO. Every pepper, every cucumber, every squash. The label is not lying. But it is solving a problem you never had, and some companies charge more for it. If you have ever paid extra for a seed packet because it said non-GMO on the front, you paid for a marketing line, not a safety feature. I want to be straight with you on this one. I am not telling you GMOs are good or bad. That is a completely different conversation for a different day. What I am telling you is that when you are standing in front of that seed rack, trying to decide between a hybrid tomato and an heirloom tomato, GMOs have nothing to do with your decision. Zero. Take that word out of your head entirely. It does not apply to anything you are buying. And that clears the air for the real question. The one that actually matters for your garden and your wallet. So if they are not GMO, what exactly are hybrid seeds? And why do they cost more? A hybrid seed is the child of two different parent plants that a breeder crossed on purpose. That is it. No laboratory, no gene splicing, no injection of bacteria or foreign DNA. A breeder takes one tomato variety that fights off disease like a tank and another that produces massive sweet fruit. The breeder moves pollen from one flower to the other by hand. The seeds that come out of that cross carry the best traits of both parents. Breeders call that first generation F1. Think of it like breeding a golden retriever with a poodle. The golden is loyal and gentle. The poodle does not shed. You cross them and you get a golden doodle that has both qualities. Nobody calls a golden doodle genetically modified. It is a cross. Hybrid seeds work the same way. Farmers have been doing this with crops for thousands of years. The only thing modern breeders changed is how precise and deliberate the crosses are. I ran this comparison myself. The numbers told the story. But hybrids have one real downside, and seed companies are not exactly eager to explain it. When your F1 hybrid plant makes seeds, those seeds are the second generation, F2. And here is where the magic falls apart. The F1 plant got a perfect hand from both parents. But when that plant has offspring of its own, the genetic deck gets reshuffled. Some of those F2 seeds grow a plant that looks like grandpa. Some look like grandma. Some look like nothing you planted. The winning combination breaks apart. The NC Cooperative Extension confirms it. Seeds saved from hybrid plants do not grow true to type. That is why you cannot save hybrid seeds and expect the same tomato next year. The plant is not broken. The genetics just reshuffled. It is like shuffling a deck of cards after someone dealt you a perfect hand. The cards are all still there, but the order is gone. So yes, you have to buy hybrid seeds fresh every season. That is a real cost. A few dollars per packet, every single year. But here's what you get in return. Hybrids produce more fruit per plant than most heirlooms. They carry built-in disease resistance, which can mean the difference between a full harvest and losing half your bed. And if you only have 2 hours on a Saturday, they are not going to surprise you. A beginning gardener in Zone 7 plants 6 big beef hybrids and pulls around 60 pounds of fruit with almost no trouble. The neighbor plants 6 Brandywine heirlooms and watches 3 of them collapse to blight before the summer is half over. Same sun, same watering schedule. The difference was the seed. So does that mean heirloom is the worst choice? Not so fast. But you need to hear the full truth before you decide. I used to think heirloom was the obvious answer. Better flavor, free seeds forever, no corporation involved. Then I grew both in the same bed for a full season. An heirloom seed is a variety that has been open-pollinated and passed down for at least 50 years. Some go back over 100. The seeds you save from an heirloom plant grow into the exact same plant next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. You buy one packet, and if you save seeds properly, you never buy that variety again. That is real independence. No company controls your supply. And the flavor. A ripe Brandywine tomato in August, still warm from the sun, sliced thick with a little salt. Nothing at the grocery store comes close. Cherokee Purple has this deep, smoky richness that you cannot find in any commercial hybrid on the shelf. Heirlooms come in colors and shapes that look like they belong in a painting. Purple, green-striped, almost black. The diversity is real. And the taste is the reason generations of gardeners kept saving these seeds. But if you have been buying heirloom seeds because someone told you they are better, ask one question. Better at what? Flavor? Usually yes. Yield? Rarely. Disease resistance? Almost never. And that is the part most people do not want to hear. Heirloom varieties were saved because farmers loved how they tasted, not because they were tough. Not because they fought off disease. They were kept alive for flavor, plain and simple. But the diseases that attack your garden are not standing still. Late blight today is not the same late blight your grandmother dealt with in 1955. The pathogens keep evolving every single year. Your 70-year-old heirloom is facing new threats with no new defenses. It is running yesterday's armor against today's weapons. Hybrid breeders update their disease resistance packages every few years. Cornell Cooperative Extension has been documenting this gap for decades. Heirlooms simply do not get those updates. That does not make heirlooms bad. It means they come with a responsibility. You trade convenience for flavor. And that is a trade worth making, if you know what you are signing up for. Brandywine cracks when you water unevenly. One heavy rain after a dry week, and the skin splits open. Cherokee Purple has skin so thin that it bruises if you look at it wrong. And neither one of them has the built-in resistance to late blight or fusarium that a hybrid like Big Beef carries in its genetics from day one. I could hype heirlooms up, but that would not be honest. If you garden in the humid southeast, zones 7 through 9, and you pick a disease-prone heirloom without any backup plan, you might lose half your crop before August. That is not a scare tactic. That is what happens in wet summers when the spores hit and your plant has no answer. And here is one more thing the heirloom purists will not tell you. Not every heirloom tastes better than every hybrid. Sun Gold, which is a hybrid cherry tomato, has flavor that rivals or beats most heirloom cherry varieties. I recommended heirloom cherry tomatoes to everyone, until I tasted Sun Gold next to 5 of them. It was not close. That is the trade. Heirlooms give you flavor. Hybrids give you insurance. If that one detail about heirloom disease resistance just saved you from a wasted season, subscribe. I do the homework so you do not burn a full season learning it the hard way. So here's the question nobody answers with actual numbers. Which one saves you more money over 3 years? You grow 6 tomato plants every summer. You do it 3 years in a row. 2 paths. Path 1. You go hybrid. You buy a fresh packet every spring. That costs you a few dollars each time. Over 3 years, you spend less than most impulse buys at the garden center. But every plant produces. Every plant fights off disease. You lose almost nothing. Path 2. You go heirloom. You buy 1 packet the first year, same few dollars, but then you save seeds from your best fruit, and years 2 and 3 cost you nothing. 0. Your seed budget for 3 years is 1 packet. On paper, heirloom wins. And that is where most videos stop. But the real number is not what you pay for the packet. It is what you get out of the ground. Cost per pound of produce. That is the number that matters. For the money. Nothing else comes close to saving your own heirloom seed. If you pick the right variety, you spend a few dollars on a packet of heirloom Roma in March. By September, 1 plant gives you enough seeds to fill a sandwich bag. That sandwich bag is 3 years of free paste tomatoes. You store those seeds in a paper envelope, keep them cool and dry, and they stay viable for 4 to 6 years. 5 minutes of work, and you never buy Roma seeds again. But if you lose 2 of your 6 heirloom plants to disease in a wet year, you did not just lose the plants. You lost the fruit, you lost the seeds, and you lost the time. Your cost per pound of actual food just doubled. A hybrid grower who paid for fresh seeds every year but harvested from all 6 plants ends up with more food for less total money. Here's the clean version. If all 6 hybrid plants produce and only 4 heirlooms survive, the free seed stops mattering. You got less food. That is the number most people miss. So which path wins? It depends on what you are growing and where you are growing it. If you are making paste for canning, Roma heirloom is the smarter long-term pick. It is determinate, so it sets fruit all at once. It is one of the tougher heirlooms out there. The seed saving takes 5 minutes. I will walk you through it in a moment. But if you are growing cherry tomatoes to eat fresh off the vine and you garden anywhere with humidity, Sun Gold Hybrid is the better value, even though you are buying seeds every year. It produces so much more fruit per plant and handles moisture so much better that your cost per pound of actual food ends up lower. You pay a little more for seeds and get a lot more in return. The right answer is not heirloom or hybrid. The right answer is knowing which one fits what you are trying to do. Once you see the math, the decision gets a lot simpler. And it depends on exactly 3 things. Your choice comes down to 3 things: time, climate, and whether you want to save seed. If you are a beginner in zones 5 through 8 and your weekends are already packed, go hybrid and do not look back. 2 picks. Big beef for your main slicer. It is indeterminate, it carries VFN disease resistance, and 1 good plant can give you a heavy, steady harvest all season. Plant it in a 10-gallon grow bag or straight in the ground with 24 to 36 inches between plants. Water deeply twice a week and leave it alone. Your second pick is Sun Gold Cherry Tomato. Zones 4 through 9. It handles cracks, shrugs off moisture, and it will keep producing until your first frost shuts it down. If I could only pick 1 tomato for a beginner with 0 experience, it would be big beef. I would not think twice. Buy fresh seeds every spring and stop feeling guilty about it. Your Saturday afternoon is worth more than the price of a seed packet. If seed independence matters more to you and you garden in zones 4 through 7 where humidity is more manageable, heirlooms open up a different path. 2 picks here. Rutgers tomato. Zones 4 through 8. Determinate. Bred at Rutgers University back in the 1930s. It is a safer heirloom pick than Brandywine in a wet summer. Not hybrid level tough, but more forgiving. Your second pick is Black Crim. Zones 5 through 8. Indeterminate. Needs staking. It has this rich, smoky, almost wine-like flavor that you are not going to find in any hybrid on the market. Grow it where you can baby it a little, and it will reward you. For seed saving, let 1 or 2 fruits get overripe right on the vine. Scoop the seeds into a cup of water and let them sit for 3 days. The good seeds drop to the bottom. Rinse them, lay them flat to dry, and tuck them into a paper envelope. Store that envelope somewhere cool and dark. Those seeds stay good for 4 to 6 years. Start them indoors 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. Your first save takes about 5 minutes of actual work. After that, you never buy tomato seeds again. But here is the move I would make if I were setting up a garden today with no strong opinion either way. Plant 4 hybrid tomatoes for your daily eating and 2 heirlooms for flavor and seeds. 4 big beef plus 2 brandywine. The big beef covers your table no matter what the weather does. The brandywine gives you those thick, ugly, incredible slices that make the whole garden worth it. And if blight takes out a brandywine, your big beef plants are still standing. If you have been buying only heirloom because you thought hybrid was bad, or only hybrid because you thought heirloom was risky, you just got permission to run both. That is the move. The seed companies and the online forums turned this into a moral argument. Heirloom versus hybrid, natural versus corporate, old school versus new. But it is not a moral question. It is a math problem and a flavor preference. And once you understand the math, you stop paying for fear and start paying for results. The best gardener is not the one who buys the fanciest seeds or argues the loudest in the comment section. It is the one who picks the right seed for their yard, their zone, their schedule, and then actually puts it in the ground. Tell me in the comments, are you team heirloom, team hybrid, or team both? Drop your zone so I know where you are growing. I read every single one. And think of that one person in your life who keeps asking whether their seeds are GMO. The friend who will not touch a hybrid because of something they read online. The neighbor who heard that hybrid means chemicals. Send them this video. No message needed, just the link.